The risk matrix, one of the simplest yet most effective tools for managing project risks. But how do you create one? And more importantly, how do you use it? Well, in today's video, we will be uncovering all. So first and foremost, what exactly is a risk matrix? You'll see one here on screen. Now, this is a visual tool that helps you to prioritize risks based on two important things: how likely they are to happen, so probability, sometimes referred to as likelihood, and how bad the consequences would be if they did. Now, this is often referred to as impact, but it can also be referred to as consequence as well. So looking at our template here, you can see the likelihood or probability running down the left side from rare at the very bottom all the way to almost certain at the top. Across the top, we have consequence from negligible all the way through to catastrophic. Where these intersect gives us our risk rating. And notice how the colours tell the story. Green means low risk, yellow is moderate, orange is high, and red, that's extreme risk territory. See these numbers in each cell? They're risk scores calculated by multiplying the probability by the consequence. So if we were to look at this here, the probability is almost certain, but the impact is negligible. So 5 times 1 equals 5. That gives us a moderate score. Second, let's look at this. So the probability, almost certain, the impact or consequence of it happening being 2, 5 times 2 gives us a high risk matrix scoring. The color coding is there to make decision making simple. Now, you can slightly change these scores if you wanted to, depending on your risk appetite, but this is a typical risk matrix scoring system that works well across most projects. So here we have green. So if there's a score of 3 or under, it means we should monitor but not panic. Yellow, between 4 and 7, that risk needs attention and planning. Orange, with 8 to 14, that's a high priority risk where we should develop solid mitigation strategies. And red, 15 and above, that's a critical risk, and that requires immediate action. So once you have a risk matrix, you can start to put it to work. So here you'll see in the separate tab, I have a risk register. So the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to create your risk register and start populating your risks. For each risk, you then need to ask yourself, how likely is this to happen? Rate it from 1 through to 5. So 1 being rare, 5 being almost certain. So you give it a score in the impact level. Then you need to work out how likely is it to happen, the probability. So again, 1 through to 5, give it a score. At which point you can then do the calculation. So in this case, we have 2 by 2, or you could refer to the risk matrix, 2 by 2, we have a moderate score of 4. And here I've set up a formula that runs that analysis, but I'm just showing you how we're using the risk matrix in this risk register. So let's just take another example. Let's say you're launching a new product. The website crashes on launch day. Might be unlikely, but it would be a major consequence if it to happen. So let's give it a 2 for likelihood and 4 for consequence. That will give us a score of 8. So we can refer back here. That would give us a score of 8. That would be a kind of high score on the risk matrix. So here's the practical part. What you want to do once you've started to document your risks and go through the risk matrix, giving them a scoring, you want to start going through those risks that sit within the red zone risks. So basically, anything scoring 15 or higher will need an action plan now. These are your potential project killers. As I've said, orange risks would be the next priority. There where you should be looking for mitigation strategies. Maybe you can't prevent them entirely. However, you can reduce either their likelihood or their impact were it to happen. So here's how to make this work for you. As I've said, it does need an accompanying risk register. Make sure you list specific real risks, not vague worries. Be honest with your ratings. Optimism won't protect your project. Thirdly, be sure to assign each risk an owner who monitors and manages it. Document your mitigation actions right next to each risk. So we've got a whole column for that here. Review these risks in your team meetings and make this a living document, and always refer back to the risk matrix. Remember, you cannot eliminate all risks, but you can prepare for them. So that high impact, low likelihood risk, have a contingency plan ready just in case. So when and why would you use this resource? You want to use a risk matrix at project kickoff and throughout execution. It is invaluable for project planning and budgeting. For instance, red risks might need extra resources. It's very important for stakeholder communication. It shows that you're proactive. It's very important for decision making because it helps you to justify preventative measures. It's also very important for team alignment. Now, the real benefit of all of this, no surprises. So when stakeholders ask what could go wrong, you have answers. And when problems arise, you're prepared. And when everything goes smoothly, you know it's because you managed the risks, not because you got lucky. Remember, risk management isn't about being negative, it's about being prepared. If you want to know how to create this risk matrix, there is a separate video on this channel. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you wanted to watch that. Or you can just pick up this template, another link in the description below if you did want to get that. With that said, best of luck over to you. I hope you have an excellent day.